Hey guys, we're going to go over your review for your first test on Thursday, okay? So, first problem, given the domain and range for a function, give the domain and range for the function to the right. And right here we see a graph, okay? And you'll notice all the way back here at -5 x value, we have an open circle. And then I continue and I go all the way over here to an x value of 5, but I end with an arrow, which means it's going to keep going on, okay? And it wants us to write the notation in all three styles: set, interval, and inequality. Okay, well, set notation, guys, is really just inequality notation. So I'm going to go over here and do inequality first, and then I'll come back and do set. So inequality is dealing with the greater than symbols, less than symbols, greater than, less than, equal to as well. Okay? So then, for this problem, my domain, well, what is my most left x value? It's almost always a good idea to try to find your smallest value of something. So, for domain, that would be x. For range, that would be y. So my most left x value is -5. So then what do I do after this -5? Well, I just grow to the right. So since it's an open circle, I can say x is greater than -5. And I would be done. Bam. That's all you have to do. For range, okay, now I want you to notice something for your range. Okay, and this range is tricky here. But what's your highest y value right now? 1. What's your lowest y value right now? -3. What seems to be happening in this graph? We go up to 1, down -3, up to 1, down -3. So we're probably going to continue that pattern. So that means that y is greater than or equal to 1, but less than or equal to, I'm sorry, I wrote that backwards. I apologize. And if I can figure out how to edit, I'll fix that. But to go back to what I was saying, y is greater than or equal to -3. Okay, because right here, this is a closed circle. I know there's an open circle right here, guys, but don't fret. I'm going to explain it. Alright, but the -3 for y is coming from a closed circle. So y is greater than or equal to -3, but y is less than or equal to 1, because the highest y value I ever get to 1. Now, some of you might be saying, wait, why is it equal to? Well, because look here. Don't I have a y value of 1 right here? Yes, I do, and it's a closed circle. I know over here on this open circle is a y value of 1, but since I have a closed circle on the y value of 1, I get to take the closed circle. So I get to consider it equal to. So then set notation, guys, you just draw your curly bracket. You put x, straight line. X is greater than -5. Curly bracket. Curly bracket. Y, straight line. -3, y is greater than or equal to -3, but y is less than or equal to 1. Very good. Now, interval notation. Alright, well, we know that I'm just getting bigger than -5, so I can say parenthesis -5 to infinity, parenthesis. And then on range, I could just say bracket -3 to 1 bracket. And there you go. Alright, let's move on. Problem number 2. Multiply and simplify. Okay. You should know how to multiply fractions, top to top, bottom to bottom. So, 3 times 56, that's 150 plus 18, which is 168. 168 over 7 times -6 is -42. Now I just need to reduce. Let's see, this is divisible by 3. 6, this is divisible by 3. And a calculator can help you do this. I'm just doing this in my head to show you it's possible. So let's see, 3 goes into 16 5 times, carry down my 1, so that'd be 56. Over 3 goes into 42, 12, 13, is it 14 times? Yes, 14 times. Alright, now I look and I say, okay, they're both still divisible by 2. So 2 goes into 56, let's see here, 28 times. 2 goes into 14 7 times. And then 28 is divisible by 7, which is just 4. Oh, I lost a negative, didn't I? I'm sorry. Negative. So 28 divided by -7 is -4. Okay. Part B. Assume the 6 is over 1, so you get -3 times 6, which is -18, over 14 times 1, which is just 14. Those are both divisible by 2, so that'd give me -9 over 7. And that's as far as I could go. Alright, moving on to problem number 5. Okay, problem number 5. Determine the following given that f of x is equal to 4x minus 3 and g of x is equal to 2x plus 3. So f minus g of x, so here's f of x, so I'm just going to say 4x minus 3 minus g of x, which is 2x plus 3. Okay. Now remember, I put the minus sign in parentheses. The function g in parentheses, I'm subtracting the whole thing, so then I get 4x minus 3 minus 2x minus 3. Now I put like terms together. 4x minus 2x is 2x. Negative 3 minus 3 is negative 6. So I get 2x minus 6. Alright, f of x times g of x. So that would be 4x minus 3 times 2x plus 3. Now I know we've only done this a little bit, but it is going to be on the test, so you do want to make sure you know it. You do first times first, so 4x times 2x, which is 8x squared. And then you do 4x times 3, which is 12x, so plus 12x. And then you do negative 3 times 2x, which is negative 6x. And then you do negative 3 to 3, which is negative 9. And then you just put like terms together. So I get 8x squared. 12x minus 6x is 6x, so plus 6x minus 9. And there we go. That would be your answer for both those. Okay, moving on. Problem number 6. Problem number 6 says, given that f of x equals x plus 1 and g of x equals x plus 5, do all of these problems. So this right here means f composed of g of x. So I like to rewrite it like this. F of g of x. I like to rewrite it like this. So that means take the g function and put it into the f function. So I'm going to replace this x on the f function with all of the g function. So I'm going to take away this x and I'm going to put in the g. So I'm going to get x plus 5 because I just took away this x and put in this g, and then plus 1. So then I get x plus 5 plus 1, well that's x plus 6. And there you go. Alright, part B says go the other way. Rather than f into d, do g into f. So it can be rewritten like this, g of f of x. Alright. So that means I want to take x plus 1 and put that in for the x on g. So I'm going to say x plus 1 plus 5, and I'm going to get the same answer, x plus 6. And that's okay that I got the same answer. I still did this right. Okay. Now, let's do problem C here. Problem C says f of g of negative 3. So I'm going to go find what g of negative 3 is first. So here's g. I'm going to put in a negative 3 for x. So I'm going to get negative 3 plus 5, and that gives me 2. So now instead of finding f of g of negative 3, I just want to find f of 2. Well, here's f, x plus 1, so I just want to do 2 plus 1. And that gives me 3. So my answer is 3. Alright, let's find g of f of 2. Alright, so the first thing I want to do is figure out what f of 2 is. So I'm going to take this 2, plug in for x right there. So 2 plus 1, which is 3. So I now know that f of 2 is 3, so I want to find g of 3. And that would be this guy right here, so 3 plus 5, which is 8. And bam, that's all she wrote. Alright, moving on. Alright, so these problems are the same ideas we just did, okay? Same ideas we just did. We're going to find f of g first, so we're going to take the g function and put it in for x on the f function. So 13 times 7x minus 2 minus 5. Distribute the 13 in. So 13 times 7 is 91x minus, is it really? 13, 10 times 7 is 70, times 3 is 21. Yes. 13 times 2 is 26. And then minus 5. So you get 91x minus 31. And then in this one, they want us to go the other way. So rather than being g into f, they want us to take the f and put that into g. So then I can say 7 times 13x minus 5 minus 2. So once again, I distribute. So 7 times 13x is 91x again minus 35 minus 2. That gives me 91x minus, this was a 35, I know it's hard to tell, minus 37. Alright? And the hardest problem on this entire review is coming up right now. Whoops. It's coming up right now with problem number 8. Alright, so remember, right now it wants us to do f of g of x. So it wants me to take this function and plug it into the f function. So I say 1/5, and I replace the x now with 5x plus 5. And then I say plus 17. I distribute the 1/5. 1/5 times 5. Look up here to see 1/5 times 5. Well, how do I multiply fractions? Well, I make 5 over 1, right? So 1/5 times 5x. I'm just doing the 5 part right now. And since I'm multiplying top to top, bottom to bottom, I get 5 over 5, which is really just 1. So then I get 1x plus, okay, 1/5 times 5 is 1, plus 17. So I get x plus 18. Alright, in this next box they want me to go the other way. So I say 5, because that's on the g function. I open up parenthesis and I say 1/5 x plus 17. And then I close it and I say plus 5 again. I distribute. So 5 times 1/5, we just did that, it gives me 1x plus, now 5 times 17 is 85 plus 5, so I get x plus 90. And there we go. Alright guys, study. Let me know what questions you have. I hope you guys have a great day.